Do you feel trapped with your language learning because you're just never in the mood to start? I used to get stuck there too until I learned that motivation isn't something that you wait for, it's something you design. So today I'm going to show you some simple habits you can use to engineer motivation so you can make steady progress with whatever language you're learning. Oh, and before we get started, I plan on making more videos to try and help people this year. But so that I know what you want to see, let me know down in the comments below and I might just make a video about it. Now, let me know if this sounds familiar. When I really struggled with learning a language, my language learning consisted of wanting to learn a language and watching videos about people explaining language learning. I felt like I didn't have enough time to get stuck with the wrong method. And I was worried that if I did, I'd just be wasting my time. All I wanted was to make progress, but because I wasn't committing to anything, I wasn't getting anywhere at all. And when I didn't see progress, I'd lose interest, drop the language for a while and then come back and start all over again. But that's not how language learning works. Think of it like this. Imagine you're hitchhiking along a road from monolingual to fluency. You're standing at the side of the road with a cardboard sign that says fluency on it, just hoping that the perfect car will turn up and take you all the way there. But if that's what you're waiting for, you're going to be standing there a long time. You're better off catching whatever car comes along and going a little bit further down the road before switching to a different car when you need to. Progress is what counts, not perfection. So whatever appeals to you right now is good enough. Don't overthink it. It might be watching comprehensible input videos on YouTube. Maybe it's using a textbook. You can even become one of the flashcard bros if you want. Whatever it is, just start. But to do that, there's one habit that will make it easier. Engineer your environment so that your language tools are always in sight. Of course, it doesn't fix everything, but by making them obvious, you lower the amount of energy it takes to get started. And each time you see them, you'll be reminded to use them. Now, practically, that might be something like changing the home page on your browser to whatever resource you're using, or you can tidy up the home screen on your mobile so that there are fewer distractions and whatever app you use for language learning is front and center. It might be leaving physical books or resources out so you can just pick them up instead of getting distracted and doing more doom scrolling. Maybe leave a pair of headphones by your house key so that it's super easy to put on some listening material each time you leave the house. Don't worry about being the perfect language learner, just make it easier to try and make the right choice in the moment. So don't wait for motivation, let your environment do some of the heavy lifting for you. Now, let's move on to something that I know many language learners struggle with. Look. Many of us have a problem in the modern world and it's affecting our ability to focus, which is making language learning feel impossible at times. If you're anything like I used to be, you might sit down to do something with your target language, but pretty quickly your brain starts itching to bounce between different apps, browsers, or just check notifications quickly. Your will to do anything with your target language vanishes and your motivation disappears. But that's not your fault. Tech companies have spent the last 2 decades engineering devices and software designed to hook your attention and flood your brain with quick hits of pleasure. A fantastic book on this is Dopamine Nation by Anna Lem. She explains how our reward systems are overloaded, not just by tech, but by general forms of instant gratification. So what has that got to do with language learning? Well, compared to the search for instant gratification from, say, endless scrolling or some tasty snack, sitting down to learn a language frankly just doesn't seem as appealing. But there are 2 things that you can do to combat this. For the first, give your brain a break and save it from wanting to jump from distraction to distraction. Now, this isn't the most orthodox thing you have heard for learning a language, but it might help to decompress your brain before you get started. Currently, the alternative to doing some language learning is getting an instant fix of dopamine through social media or whatever else. That is a hard battle to win. So change the choice. If it's between being bored or doing literally anything you want with your target language, well, that's an easier battle to try and win. So put down your phone, tablet, laptop, a slice of cake, whatever it is, and just sit. Sit there for, say, 2 to 5 minutes and let your brain reset and not feel so stimulated. If that feels boring, good. We're like monkeys and we're not really made to experience infinite pleasure. After a few minutes of doing absolutely nothing, suddenly language learning won't feel like such a chore and it'll actually just be more appealing than just sitting there. The second thing you can do is this. Lower your expectations around what learning looks like. We all want to improve, I get it, but sometimes feeling like you should have some imaginary perfect language learning routine stops you taking that first step. So just connect with your target language and don't worry about progress or exactly how many words you've learned today. That might be listening to music and then looking up what the lyrics mean. Now, I know some people play computer games in their target language. For me, I love watching YouTube, listening to podcasts and journaling. You can even stay on whatever social network you use, but instead follow a ton of creators who speak your target language. Don't worry about understanding everything, whatever you use. You'll pick things up slowly from exposure, and just doing anything will reinforce those habits to show up again tomorrow. Is this the most efficient way to learn a language? Maybe not. But if your idea of a hardcore routine is killing your motivation, efficiency isn't the priority for now. Enjoyment is. So engineer your learning to feel more rewarding, either by making boredom your baseline or by choosing activities that feel more like a treat and less like a chore. But to keep going all the way to fluency, there's something essential which you'll need. So when I think back to all the times I failed to learn a new language, there was one thing in common. I was always searching for the right answer from someone else. I'd subscribe to the latest app, binge YouTube videos, buy books, each time hoping that this would finally be the thing that worked. And every time it didn't, I felt that I was the problem. All those creators and platforms were saying that their advice worked. So if I couldn't make it work, I was the one doing something wrong. It would always kill my motivation and I'd take another break before one day eventually coming back to it. But one day, after another apparent failure, something changed. To be honest, I think I was just fed up with being sold empty promises that never seemed to deliver. So I decided that if anyone was going to figure this out, it was going to have to be me. And that's when I had that light bulb moment. Creators and companies won't always know what the exact right decision is for you, but you can trust that with enough testing and experimentation, you'll find something that is. So this is the moment I'm giving you the power to be in charge of your own learning. Design a life around habits that make you want to learn a language. Think of it like you're a scientist running your own experiment. By testing things out, you refine your personal method and get better at learning a language over time. So reframe learning not as something passive that happens to you, it's an active process where you're in charge. In each session, you're testing and getting data to improve for the next time. Because of that, learning doesn't have to look like being back in school, and so make it yours. For me, I tried a bunch of things and I was surprised how much I got from journaling in Spanish. I hadn't heard a lot of people talking about it at the time, and when combined with AI, it really works for me. So whilst I'll keep making videos to try and help you along the way, you absolutely can and should create your own language learning routine that fits you and your life. Pick something new, try it every day for 3 months, and then reflect on what you've learned and put that into action. So once you've made a routine that fits you, the next step is to make sure you never skip it. So let's look at how to do that next. Now, I don't struggle with language learning motivation anymore, or at least I haven't in a long time, and I can't see things changing soon. But that wasn't always the case. I had to build consistency first, which not only changed my habits, but more importantly, changed my identity. I am a language learner. That's who I am now. Now, am I the best language learner in the world? Of course not, but I know how to improve and enjoy the process, and that is good enough for me. But it's about building that consistency first. It feels like a chicken and egg situation. You need motivation to build the consistency, but if someone's consistent, you assume that's because they're always motivated. So when I think back to my highs and lows of learning Mandarin at first, mostly lows at the start, let's be honest, there was one simple habit that changed everything. It forced me to keep consistent and do something with my Mandarin, even when I thought I was rubbish and I could have easily chosen to do something else. For me, what really helped was block booking Chinese lessons with a fun tutor. I'll book blocks of, say, at least 10 lessons and have at least 1 lesson a week. Because I didn't want to let down my tutor, I would always show up. Then, after each lesson, I get a little boost. I feel like I'd improved, or at the very least, I turned up. And that momentum had an effect on my choices for the next few days. Plus, I'd also want to improve for the next class, which added a little to my motivation. Now, this only worked because I found a tutor who was fun and supportive. We'd chat about whatever came up. It never felt like I was studying the language, more that the language was the tool I was using to find out about another culture. But knowing that my tutor would expect to see me each week and talk Mandarin, it made all the difference. Now, for you, it might not look identical, but the main thing is that you make learning your target language non-negotiable, whatever that looks like. If you're super organized, block out time in your calendar and let whoever you live with know not to disturb you in your language learning time. I'll be honest, I'm not the most organized person in the world, so for me, having the social pressure of showing up online really works. Maybe you need external pressure, so book an exam. Whether you pass or not isn't the most important thing, but having a goal and a date to aim for means that you're going to be forced to show up even when you might have some more attractive options. But whatever you do, engineer a life where your language is non-negotiable. That way, you'll be forced to create the momentum you need to get started and keep going. And if you want to tackle the biggest motivation killer of all, the fear of speaking, then check out this video next.